spending all of our time with puppies right now, like all of our time with puppies. So that was my whole weekend. So I hope that you had a restful weekend, a nourishing weekend, and I hope that you're starting this week with a little bit of inspiration. If you're feeling low, I get it. I have been struggling with sleep for the last week, and I know that that always takes me down quite a few notches. So I've been contemplating the topic that we're looking at this week and what the meditation is based on for quite some time, and been thinking about how to bring it into the meditative space, into our community space. And I'd like to tell you a story about my son and where this really kind of sat deeply within me, and where I really started to see how powerful and intergenerational this is. So my son is 15 years old, and ever since he was a child, he really needed a deep sense of safety as it related to him knowing what's going on in his world. Like, he really needs to know what is happening. And this amped up a lot when his dad and I separated and eventually got divorced. Because, going back and forth between homes and not necessarily having a sense of understanding of what to expect. Good morning, Sherry. And so he really needs to know, really needs to know, if we change a schedule, we need to give him lots of notice, and it helps him to feel safe. And so a couple of weeks ago, we went on a camping trip, and I called him the day before because we were thinking about it, but we hadn't decided. And I told him, I actually asked him, I said, would you like to go on that camping trip we were talking about? We'd be leaving tomorrow. And he immediately said, well, okay. And that was it. He didn't say anything else. And so I said, I want to make sure that this is something that you want to do because, it's a lot of work. And he said, okay, no problem. He's very interested in it. And I put in a lot of work to make this happen. And then for the next 4 days that we were on the camping trip, he kept saying, you didn't give me any notice. I didn't know that this was happening. He just kept saying it over and over again. And honestly, it probably wasn't until the third day where it was like, ding, he's not feeling safe right now. And it's so easy for me to kind of overlook that, especially in myself, but him, I am more in tuned to his emotions. And so we started having conversations like, okay, what would have been better for you, buddy? Like, how would this have been better? Because you said it was okay. But he actually just said it was okay because he didn't know. He didn't have the time to process. He's 15, he's still learning. And it got me thinking about me and where I don't speak my truth, and then I end up feeling unsafe. And I'm noticing this more and more in the world at large, in our culture, because a lot of what is happening this year is rooted in a sense of being unsafe, of not feeling like we have solid ground to stand on, or that we have this ability to tune into truth within and actually speak it. I don't feel safe speaking my true opinion on a lot of things that are happening right now. And a lot of people don't feel safe in terms of their health or their well-being. It's just a general sense of unsafety. And so what that really brought up in me was this true understanding of safety. So if we are not looking within for our sense of security, we start to look outside for people to save us. So just hear that for a moment. So if we are not looking inside for security, for safety, we start to look outside of ourselves for a sense of safety. So we look to others to save us. And so, because my son is still learning this, we had a really beautiful conversation about it recently. And I said, why do you feel so unsafe when this happens? And true to his form, he said, well, why do you feel so unsafe when the house is messy? And he thought he was, giving me like a little dig. And I was like, buddy, the reason that I feel unsafe when the house is messy is because it feels overwhelming to me. It feels like I have too much to do. So when I clean the house, it makes me feel like there is space, like I can breathe. And then he figured it out, like he got it. And so I was like, okay, so what do you need to feel safe? And I got him to think about it and to sit with it and to contemplate that a little bit. And so he said, I need to know ahead of time. I need to know when things are going to happen. And so we had a beautiful conversation around this. I said to him that, yes, like I will do my best to make sure that you know ahead of time. And your responsibility is to tell me when you feel unsafe, is to say, this is too fast. I can't handle this. It's too much for me. And so it was an opportunity for a really beautiful conversation. And so I've been sitting with this in meditation as well, where I feel unsafe and how I react when I feel unsafe. And so the meditation we're going to be doing today is touching into that space, touching into the space where we hold a sense of innate safety. And a lot of this is rooted in inner child work, because where we feel unsafe is very much linked to our childhood, is very much linked to a time in our life where we did not have the tools, where we did not have the ability to take care of ourselves. And I can imagine that most people, and I've been experiencing this personally, are being triggered in this way in this year, because our sense of health safety or health security, our sense of just personal identity, our ability to connect with others has really been shaken. That ground has been shaken. And so our sense of safety is likely being kind of pulled out from underneath us. And so that's a call for turning within and locating the sense of internal safety and security. So let's move into meditation and we'll explore this together. So you can find a comfortable seated position. And one of the primary ways that we establish internal safety is by becoming embodied. So we can feel really out of sorts when all of our attention and our energy is scattered. But when we come back home to self, when we come back home into our body and we feel into our body, we create this new safe container. And so as you arrive in your meditative posture, feel your hips rooted down. So feel an energetic pull from your hips all the way down into the earth below. The earth is a really powerful, energetic container. It has the energetic capacity, the vibration, the just pure, raw substance to hold us, to nurture us, to support us. And so if you're seeking a sense of immediate safety, of groundedness, just connect in with the earth. Feel yourself rooted. Feel yourself as though you are a tree with roots extending down into the earth. And so if you practice earthing or walking out into the grass, this is a really powerful way to connect in with the earth, to reestablish that sense of safety and security, to become embodied. And next, I invite you to feel into the edges of your physical form. So see if you can rest your attention on all of the edges. You could outline your body with your awareness. Really feel into all of the edges of your body. Really draw your awareness into your physicality, into your physical body. And within this physical container, I invite you to bring awareness to the energy that exists within. So for me, I can feel this almost like a soft vibration. I can feel a tingling in my fingers. If you don't find that energy is really strong within you, paying attention to your breath and the flow of that can be a great way to connect in with your energy body. And then draw awareness into your heart space. We're going to start to breathe in and out of the heart. I like to place a hand or two on my heart just to help focus my awareness there. The heart is the center of your energetic body. It is also a really powerful space of balance. When you breathe deeply into the heart space, you can actually regulate the nervous system and ultimately brain activity. You can bring coherence to the body mind. So breathing deeply in and out of the heart. And notice how each of these different practices that we are moving through as we start to internalize our awareness, they can all be used separately or together. If you need a really simple grounding practice, a simple practice to help you feel safe in your day, connecting in with the earth, envisioning and feeling into the edges of your body, activating your energy, activating your breath, and also focusing in on the heart. All of these are both separate practices that benefit from working together. They amplify that sense of grounding, that sense of safety. So deep breaths still in and out of the heart space. And we are going to activate the affirmation or the mantra if you wish to repeat it. I am safe. So repeat it at least 3 times into your heart space. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And if you wish to continue repeating this internally, you can do so. It can become an anchor for awareness, a mantra. Now, holding this sense of safety, this activation of safety within, I invite you to bring up in your mind's eye or your internal experience a remembering of something that makes you feel unsafe. It can be an experience that you had. It can be a recurring relationship experience. It can be something that's happening in the world, the greater community. Continue to breathe into your heart as you envision this, as you bring up this sense of being unsafe. And just notice what happens in your body. What happens in your body and in your thoughts when this sense of unsafety, of being unsafe, occurs. So for me, one of the most powerful ways that I feel unsafe is actually when I feel like I'm not being heard. When my voice doesn't seem to matter. And so what I do is I immediately start to think of how I can separate myself from the person or the experience, how I can cocoon myself away from them, how I can retreat. And I start to imagine all of the ways that I could shut off. So just notice in yourself what your natural tendency is. What do you do when you feel unsafe? How do you respond? How do you react? What thoughts and memories come up for you? Do you seek safety outside of yourself? Do you look for information outside? Do you look to change the behavior of somebody else? And now, in this space, remembering this sense of being unsafe. And with this activation of heart energy, this activation of both being grounded and being safe within, ask yourself, so bring up this question of inquiry. What is it that I truly need in order to feel safe? So, in this situation, in this experience, in my case, in this feeling of not being heard, what is it that I need to feel safe? And remember to draw this back to an action that can be taken by you, an internal choice, an internal action. What is it that I need? What is it that I can give myself in order to feel safe? And in my experience, I'm seeing how I need to listen to myself. And I can see so many different ways that I can hear myself better and honor my truth, regardless of whether somebody else is hearing me or listening to me. So, really bring that up in yourself. See how you can bring safety to your experience. How you, as a powerful creator, as an adult who is sovereign, who has the ability to really create this sense of safety, how can you create safety for yourself? And just notice what this does for you, how you start to feel as you become more aware of your ability to create safety. Notice any sense of ease that enters. I'm noticing I can breathe easier. Feels almost like I've just given myself a really beautiful hug. Like I've given my inner child a hug and now I'm cradling her, just holding her, keeping her safe, reminding her that all is well, reminding her that I've got this. Even if it happens again, we will find our way back to safety together. Let's close this practice with 3 deep breaths together. We'll be breathing into the heart and really amplifying this sense of safety that we've cultivated together. So inhale into the heart space. Exhale. Really fill up your entire energetic and physical form with this sense of safety. 2 more. One more. Good. Feeling once again into the groundedness, rooting down into the earth below, feeling into the edges of your body. And then from this safe cocoon, from this space of safety that you have created, with your eyes still closed, begin to become aware of the space around you. So maintaining this safe space that you've cultivated and beginning to become aware of the space around you. Feeling safe within this space. Feeling fully self-contained as you begin to wake up to this new awareness. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Open your eyes with a new sense of being safe in this space, being safe in your body. And just know really deeply that you can carry this sense of safety forward with you, bringing it forward with you into your day and knowing that you can touch into this at any point in your day. Thank you so much for practicing with me. So, just to close with a little bit more inquiry and insight. So, I've been using this in so many different ways. Oftentimes, when we think of having to be safe, we look to ways that we experience a lot of physical instability or not being safe, being chased by a bear, being um, unable to feel like we are in a safe environment. But really, this sense of safety is challenged most when it's more psychological, when we are brought to a space of feeling like we can't be in our body, we can't be in our present moment experience. And Dr. Gabor Mate talks a lot about this because addiction and trauma comes from this space. So he defines trauma as anything that separates you from self or from the present moment. And being in this space of unsafety, I don't know what other word to use because that's not really a word, a lack of safety, that can create trauma. And then it keeps coming up in us over and over again. So one of the ways that it comes up for me over and over again is in my personal relationships, and particularly my intimate partnership. And regardless of what the other person is doing, I can feel unsafe just if I don't feel heard. Like that, it's so simple. If I don't feel heard, I feel a physical sense of needing to leave, like needing to get out of that space to go find my cocoon of safety. But to learn how to cultivate this as an inside experience, as an ability to turn within and activate the sense of internal safety, can really help you shift into a new space of groundedness, a new space of responsiveness rather than reactivity. It's a really powerful space to be in. Sometimes you'll still need to leave. Sometimes I often will need to say, I just got to go. I got to go have some time by myself. And that time by myself will help me to reestablish that. Now, please know that I'm not speaking about actual danger. So if there is danger, you need to leave. That's a different experience. But oftentimes we will respond to a lack of safety with this grasping for safety outside of us. So, that's really clear in a lot of the things that are happening this year with the coronavirus. We've been looking for ways to feel safe. And oftentimes we'll look for anything that can help us feel safe. But to turn within and to really ask ourselves, what do I need to feel safe? What do I need in order to really connect in with self and to act from this space of truth within is key. It's the change from grasping and feeling unsettled and as though we have no foundation to becoming embodied and to becoming sovereign, powerful beings. So it's a very important practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, you're so welcome, Barbara. I'm glad that it connected with you. I wish you such a beautiful Monday and a week to come for me, because I get to go watch or witness my very best friend Donalyn get married this week. So I will be around for the next few days and then off to BC. Have such a beautiful day, everybody.